Hey there. Today we're going to go over how to create a bill or expense. There are a couple ways that you can create these bills and expenses. You can either create them from the More tab using the Global Bills and Expenses, or you can just enter the Project Financials, Bills and Expenses tab, and then use this Add Item dropdown in the top right corner or the bottom left corner. When you click on this Add Item dropdown, you're going to be able to click on Add Bill or Add an Expense. So again, the difference between bills and expenses are that a bill is an invoice that is sent to you by your vendor, and an expense is where you have to go out and get material from your vendor. We'll start with just by adding a bill. So the first thing that you'll always need is your vendor or payee. Now, if you don't have somebody in here like I do, you don't have a lot of vendors or anything, you can literally just simply start typing in any type of name, and it will allow you to create that vendor. And you can just click on this create or click on enter. Now, whenever you go to create a bill of expense, you'll see your new vendor here. And then you can always enter the vendors tab to manage that vendor. So you can always add in, again, their point of contact, address, things like that. The due date for the bill is going to be the due date on the bill. So if the bill says, pay net 30, due upon receipt, whatever that looks like is going to be the date or the due date here. And this is important because this is what tracks what due date that bill is for. And although it doesn't necessarily tell you or send you anything that a bill is overdue if it's unpaid, it does allow you to see when these kind of things were coming in, and when you were getting them kind of paid as well. Again, you'll also have a bill date right here. So if your bill date is due upon receipt, then you can put the same day that you got the bill, or you can do the date that the bill was printed. Again, you'll have a status of paid and unpaid. So this is only available for bills because, again, expenses are paid at the time of purchase. Um, and this doesn't do anything to any of the totals here at all, but it does allow you to see if a bill is remaining unpaid or paid, and maybe why. So if a bill is unpaid and there's no description in here, it could be that it maybe just got accidentally skipped over. Or if it's paid, you can see exactly how you paid it or why you paid it, different types of things like that. You'll also have the optional ability to add that bill number, description, and attachment. We do strongly suggest that you do add these things because, for example, maybe Jackson Plumbing calls me and they want to know if I have made a payment to or if I have paid or received a specific bill number. By adding that bill number here into this, I can really quickly see if it's been paid or unpaid. Additionally, the description and the attachments just help provide more information. So for example, maybe you want to add a description about what the product was for. Maybe you want to add the attachment that's the actual invoice. Or potentially, if there was a return on an item, you can always put that here in the description and upload the new return invoice here, and then just adjust the cost down here. You can definitely add budget line items. So once you click on add budget line item, you'll be able to pull up any of the items that you currently have in your budget right now. So this is for plumbing. I can really quickly and easily search plumbing right here. So I can either apply this to our plumbing fixtures or the plumbing labor, whatever it is that I need to pay this bill for. We'll do plumbing labor. I can also split this bill across other line items. So maybe this bill is not only for our plumbing labor, but for our plumbing fixtures as well. Can really quickly and easily add those plumbing fixtures. Now, because plumbing fixtures is a selection, this is going to create basically a new selection within this particular category. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. And then additionally, you can always add in anything that's for your overhead or anything like that that could be an unassociated cost. So maybe a portion of this bill does not go to any of the line items, but kind of just goes to the project as a whole. You can just assign it as an unassociated cost. And then what I like to do is in the description here, I like to put that there's an unassociated cost. The descriptions here will show up underneath the title of the bill. And the reason why I like to do this is because once I save this bill, something that you'll notice is that if you go to your budget summary, you'll see something here that says unassociated costs. And when you click on it, it's not going to take you to the bill or bills or expenses that have that unassociated cost. Additionally, if there's an unassociated cost in here, but there are other items associated to line items, it's not going to show you that here either. So I like to put unassociated costs here so that I can really easily track what bills may not be associated to those line items that do have some line items. Otherwise, if you add an expense or a bill that is not associated, then it'll essentially just show up as an unassociated cost without anything in the associated option right here. Now, adding an expense is the exact same. So as you see, I just went right straight through it. You'll just need the vendor payee. You'll have the date. Again, you won't have things like the due date or the bill number or anything like that because expenses are paid at the time of purchase. This is maybe you have to pay some labor or something and you just pay that via your credit card, or you write a check really quickly to the person who you need to pay labor to. Maybe you have to go to Home Depot to grab something, like some gaskets or something. That would be an expense, whereas those bills are actually invoiced to you. Whenever you're creating bills and expenses, it's a good idea to keep mindful what the client can see. So bills and expenses are not automatically shown with clients, which means that they can't automatically see cost for anything. But you can change that at any point in time by clicking on this client visibility and either selecting or deselecting bills and expenses. Selecting bills and expenses will allow your client to see cost, whereas deselecting it, they won't be able to see the bills and expenses tab or any type of cost in your project. Finally, in the bills and expenses tab, the global bills and expenses tab actually, when you add an item, you'll actually also be able to choose many or multiple projects that the item goes to. This is only available in the bills expenses tab, the global one, because you have to choose a project for this tab. Every bill and expense is associated to a project. There's no way for you to just add one without a project associated, but you're able to select multiple different types of projects. So as you create your bill or expense and you want to add it to a project, you can just click on this drop down. You can even search within the drop down, and you can add as many projects as you like here. Now, when you're doing this, it's going to split out the budget line items for you via project. So you'll have one for testing test right here, like I do, and then one for the duct bathroom remodel. Very similar to how you would normally. You'll just add your budget line items or unassociate the cost and then click on save. Hopefully that answers all of your questions about creating those bills and expenses. But if you ever get stuck or need anything, click on this question mark help icon and select chat with us to jump into our real-time chat. Happy building!